If you would like to ask any question, please raise hand to let us know. Please also introduce yourself before asking question.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Liu Kai Kun from Hong Kong Metropolitan University. So thank you very much for the briefing. Just two questions. One short question is on the contingency plan. Maybe I didn't hear it properly. Like, what does it entail? That I think Professor Lee highlighted something about contingency plan. And the other question is also on the nature of the research. Like, if I have a research project with like co-PIs that are outside Hong Kong in another country, would the UGC consider funding that kind of research as well? Or must all the research be based in Hong Kong itself? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So I will take the first one, and my colleagues can supplement. For the contingency plan, and everybody knows, I mean, the public health situation is quite dynamic. So we would like to invite our PIs, when you develop your research activities, please consider to have a contingency plan if the situation does not allow you to perform your research activities as planned. Yeah, so that is a suggestion. Thank you.
I think the second question is about that the co-investigator, whether it's in Hong Kong or outside Hong Kong. I think that there is no such restriction that the co-investigator must be in Hong Kong, because I think the finding that the right co-investigator to really who are really the expert, or we have the knowledge, and then who really help on that the project, certainly that can also sometimes can increase the chance for the project. Thank you.
Well, in fact, UGC does encourage international collaborations, and if you can identify some renowned researcher overseas to participate in this project, personally I would say that's a plus. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. This is Alex Lee from Hong Kong Chian University. So thank you for the information, and also thank you, Professor Lee, for introducing the assessment criteria and procedures for us. As I recall, in one of your slides, you described the assessment procedures, and in the second one, there's a nomination of external reviewer. But I also see there's a plaquette saying that for IDS infrastructures, there won't be a nomination of external reviewer. So may I ask for some more information about how that part works for the infrastructure grant? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. For the IDSR, yes, as I mentioned, the IDSR oftentimes involves a lot of resources, and the funding request is a large amount. So the panel are very careful with this IDSR projects. And so the procedure is as follows. There will be like a internal assessment. So after the first round, if the proposal is rated satisfactory, we will invite for not satisfactory shortlist. If the proposal passes the first stage evaluation, and the shortlist proposal will be invited for presentation. So we have this two-stage approach to ensure the quality and the procedural fairness of this evaluation. Yeah, given the nature of this project, so we solicit the support from our internal panel members. So yes, there's a difference between FDS and IDSR in terms of their evaluation process. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Eric from Metropolitan University. I want to find out if you are applying for the FDS and maybe you have a very strong collaboration in other countries where you can collect data. Is it still allowed? Maybe I want to collect data from mainland China, but the grant is coming from Hong Kong. Is it still allowed that I can apply and indicate that my data collection will be done in mainland China? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Yes, we do encourage those kind of cross-discipline and international collaborations, not only on the data collection, but also on the research activities. So you are welcome to identify suitable collaborators, either in mainland China or overseas, to collaborate with you on your research projects. I think both parties will benefit from those collaboration, and hopefully we'll have those synergistic effects between collaborators. So yes, it is allowed. Thank you.
Maybe I could add to that, because in fact that if we really you need really some kind of a research assistance, or that you need someone, your let's say your collaborators to help you to collect the data, which at a cost, then it can also be put into your budget. And of course, you need to provide the justification or strong certification, as Professor Lee mentioned. Thank you.
I also supplement some of the information for the panel of the humanity and social science. Every year, we also have the proposal. There's, for example, they are studying about the cross-cultural studies. Therefore, they are studied not only limited in Hong Kong, but also in some other regions. For example, the ethnic minority in mainland China. Therefore, in their proposal, they will highlight the collaborations with those scholars in mainland China. And also, there will be some budget for their traveling from Hong Kong and also to other regions, so that they can collect data and also make the academic exchange, etc. Yeah.
Thank you. This is Phoebe Siu from PolyU CPC. I have a question about social impact and also the artifacts that we may create, because in the process of using technology, sometimes we may have to employ external parties, like doing some prototype shaping, like the robot eye tracking technology. So in the process of submitting the budget plan and also evaluate this feasibility of creating bigger social impact, should I contact the contractor for some, prototype data and also do some quotation plan for options, or what should I do in the initial pre-piloting? And would it affect the result if I have already appointed one contractor that I create a prototype and present their initial findings, and then I find another contractor for the, more fair evaluation of the budget plan? So what should I put in mind in terms of technology-based research? Yeah.
I can explain a little bit. So actually, it's always good to have some, we perhaps call this as a pilot study. So you have some artifacts with one technology supplier, and then you incorporate the pilot study in your proposal. That will be excellent, right? It's totally fine if you choose another technical supplier for your foreign studies. They are all very good. Good.
Yes, I want to supplement a bit. Like for the pilot study, sometimes it really depends on the nature of your proposal. And so don't give the reviewer the view that the study is not carried by your group. So you just basically ask other team or the outside vendor to help you to do it. And so that is kind of like the evaluation whether or not the research team is able to do it. And the other thing is in biology and medicine, it's like even in the GRF, if we want to do or hire someone or relies on some company to help or do something that we cannot do it in the institution, and there will be the budget ceiling. So if you request to do so, that exceeds certain amounts of money, and so you need to get a quotation, and so to justify the amounts of money that you request from the budget.
Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Penny Chan from the Metropolitan University. I know that for the CRG, the social impact is very important, but I want to ask is, what if I have a project, okay, that the size of the community that is benefit from the project is smaller? They may be because they are maybe more obscure from the community, but the theoretical value may be bigger. But instead, another project that is a larger size of community that will be benefit, but the theoretical knowledge generated will be smaller. So which one is more important for the CRG, social impact or the theoretical knowledge? Thank you.
Thank you for this very challenging question. So as professors, we always use a magical answer for those kind of questions. Well, it depends, right? Well, okay, to be honest, I think when we, as I mentioned, the panel evaluate the proposal, we take a holistic review. There's no like a formula, 20% theoretical importance, 20% practical importance. I mean, how large is the community? Is a large community. We don't have this kind of very objective like join line. But again, back to your question, I think we have to understand the substance of your project. Just now, our colleagues, some presenters mentioned the social impact. So the social impact can be defined in multiple ways, right? So it is a demonstrable like benefits and to the society, economic, and also sometimes to the public policy. So as long as you can demonstrate the qualitative benefits you can bring to the society, to the technology, to the public policy, you have your strong argument, you have your strong justifications. I'm sure our panel members can recognize the significance of your research. Thank you.
I think it may be your efforts to convince the reviewers, because in our reviewers team there will be maybe more than 3 or 4, and sometimes they will have the diversified views. I can't say that your views on social impact or on the sample size, maybe theoretical foundation is good, but for some other reviewers, they will looking at the beneficiary. Therefore, it depends on how you write your proposal, so that if you have a strong argument or good justifications, then you can convince all the reviewers that your proposal is good. If we find that there are diversified views from different reviewers, our team will also make our own judgment on this, so that don't worry about it, because from time to time, when we get back the feedback from the reviewers, usually there will be many diversified views. Some rate your proposal very good, but without any justifications. But some say that it's not good. There are still some further improvement, and then they may have a long list of the justification for your recommendation, the improvement, so that that will be our task to see whether this proposal should be well supported or not supported.
But maybe another thing I want to supplement, I don't think that we ever had really tried to say for the two proposals to compete against each other. It's really based on absolute merit rather than relative. And so therefore that if I to answer your question, well, I mean, I would say that the best is that you are doing well in both parts, in the social impact as well as the theoretical contribution. Because after all, I think that these are really also the kind of a academic research, and so therefore you do need a theoretical ground, and so therefore no matter how much a contribution that you might have on the community, but if the theoretical foundation is not really strong enough, that might also be criticism by other reviewers. So therefore, I think that part that you also need to really to build up. And but I think that I want to say that it's better that to do well in both dimensions. Thank you.
And good evening, committee, and good evening, everyone. I am Diana from PolyU Speed. And last year, I submitted my proposals, and my database is based on US data. And I gave a small part to Hong Kong to saying what is a possible social impact in Hong Kong. And the feedback I received is saying that you don't emphasize enough on the social impact on Hong Kong, especially. So I'm wondering, should I this year I focus on Hong Kong more, means I do the mainstream data on Hong Kong, and instead to do the US as a supplementary? Is it a proper way to correct my proposals?
Well, again, this is a very challenging question. So as a chair, I should be responsible for challenging questions. So let me try to answer your question. Well, I think Hong Kong is known for international city, and I believe Professor James Tong will agree with me that the university or institution in Hong Kong is known for the most international. Is known for internationalization. So we do welcome that. We do welcome proposals that has a strong international perspective with a global vision and mission. Well, having said that, we also hope that those proposals can have local relevance. Well, you can study global phenomenon, right? In the SDG 17, SDG problems, you can study all those grand problems. Okay, but in the proposal, we would like to invite our PIs to at least demonstrate what you studies has local relevance. So the answer is yes, you can study international, global, or problem using international database, not a problem, but it will be desirable if you can also demonstrate the local relevance of your study. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Lee. Thank you for our organizing this fantastic event. So I'm Melody from PolyU Speed. So I have two questions. The first one is regarding the composition of reviewers. May I ask how, on average, how many reviewers are we going to have? Because I observed that, for example, I have 3, but some of my colleagues, they say they have 7 reviewers. So I just want to have a rough idea of the average. And also, are these reviewers like Hong Kong based or they're internationally renowned ones? So this is the first question. The second question is about the nature of research. So I've learned a lot from the 3 sharing sessions just now, but I observed that these are all empirical studies. Like, in other words, they're lab sessions, they're quantitative. So, I know there are some very good qualitative studies being funded every year. So, and my question is, well, in this like for FDS or for IDS studies, are there a trend of like quantitative over qualitative, or like are these qualitative projects are just being lucky? So these are my questions. Thank you.
My operation, okay, with you, how to choose reviewers. Of course, it depends. Again, it depends on different first readers. So my operation is, as requested by RGC, the first batch we nominate 8. Okay, so it could be the case 8 reviewers all accept our invitation. It could be the case 0. I had a very tough case. I nominated 24 after 3 batches, and then RGC stopped chasing me. So, but something you should be proud of is at least my practices. I chose reviewers from all top schools. So your proposals were actually accessed by professors from Oxford, Cambridge, Stanford, all these top schools. Okay, you're not secondary to any other institutions in terms of your proposal quantity. So that's, hopefully I answered your first question. All right. Okay, second question, who can answer that better, in a better position? Although I'm a convener of the engineering panel, I love theoretical studies. So if you have some theoretical studies proposed, myself, I would be very interested in reading that and supporting that. Good?
May I ask, Melody, what's your area?
I do research in linguistics. Basically, I do typology. So my area is actually like more qualitative, but I'm trying to implement more. Like we do have some new techniques. For example, NeighborNet. Like we can implement more quantitative like methods onto it. But the basics, like in the area of typology or language studies, I do documentations where these are all like more fundamental theoretical based. Yeah. So.
As far as I remembered from those proposals, there's no priority for selecting the quantitative proposal or qualitative, because usually for the quantitative approach, that may involve a large budget because you may need the RA, etc. But for the qualitative approach, sometimes, in my experience, maybe the PI, they don't ask for NRA, but only for the general expense or teaching relief. I don't say that that will be good for be selected to be successful. But anyway, from my experience, there will be a wide range of proposals with different approaches, and there will not be any priority for some particular approach. So that please feel free to write your proposal in your own approach. Yeah.
I just want to supplement the two pieces of information. Over the past 3 years, my own observation is that the response rate of our external reviewers increased a lot. So if you receive the comments, from 4 or 5 reviewers, well, no surprise, because probably during the past 2 or 3 years, our professors overseas, they cannot travel anywhere, so they have more time to review our proposals. That could be one explanation. And yes, we do welcome different type of proposals, including both qualitative proposal and quantitative proposals. Thank you.
Yes, I think for the proposal, whether or not the outcome is qualitative or quantitative, it really depends on the nature of the study. Okay, for the linguistic, maybe qualitative is good enough. And so, but for the biology and medicine, so all those are quantitative. So we need to know whether or not the phenomenon is true or not using the statistical analysis. And so it really depends on the nature, yeah.
Hello, thank you very much for this very good informative session. So my name is Dr. Asim and I am from PolyU CPC Speed. So my question is specifically for the resubmissions of the already submitted, and then if you can't able to get that funding from the previous round. So first question is regarding the resubmission of already submitted, and then revise those submissions to have some better the proposals. The second question is how to address the comments of the reviewers that has already been given to you in the previous round, so that you can, because in the application, in the form, you have a limited space and you have a lot of comments. So how you can address that, because we are not allowed probably to just add some more pages and to have addressed these comments. And the third question is I have seen, I am basically from the engineering side. So I have seen that nowadays the interdisciplinary research, I don't know, this question is something, but I have observed the interdisciplinary research nowadays is getting more boost, and they are getting funding in a sense that for example, reinforcement learning, the AI, machine learning, these things are entered into every kind of subject. So I just need to know how impactful is that in terms of the success of a specific proposal who is specifically from a particular engineering. Thank you very much.
Share a little bit first, and then my colleagues may supplement me. So the first question is about how to address the comments from the reviewers. I think, yes, now we tighten up the pages a little bit, otherwise it could be endless. Okay, some people even use that to have 30 pages or longer. So I think there's always a way, okay, in limited pages to address the comments, okay, in a succinct way. So it's up to you. I don't have a silver bullet to do that. But it's always advisable to address the comments if you want to resubmit the comments, the proposal, right? So when we get the resubmission, we normally know this is a resubmission. We may or may not approach the same sets of reviewers. Even we approach the same set of reviewers, some of them may turn down our invitation. So that's basically how we operate this. Okay. The second question is about interdisciplinary, and then indeed a lot of people put in fancy terms like deep learning, transfer learning, machine learning. I can share with you, we received 10 CVs of a PhD student, 8 claim that they know how to do machine learning. I think, again, it depends, okay? So it really depends on whether machine learning, in this case, transfer learning, in this case, can help, okay? So I think external reviewers, panel members, will judge from that sense. So simply to put an AI or machine learning on the title doesn't help much. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, let me supplement a bit. When you receive your proposal, which is not successful, the first thing you need to, not just thinking, okay, I need to resubmit it. Okay, no, you have to look at the score. And then that will give you some hint whether or not you should resubmit this one. And so if your score like, to me, like 3.5, then maybe a chance, okay? And so you may consider, okay, to resubmit the proposal. But during the courses, when you answer the question, you may ask yourself again, so is that really just simply answer the question, or you really improve your resubmit the proposal? So this is something some of my colleagues keep asking me whether or not we need to resubmit the proposal. It really depends, okay? Your score and you really think more whether or not it is really a good chance to resubmit. Because sometimes the colleague may think it's more easy to resubmit the proposal. We don't need to start over again. The second question regarding the interdisciplinary, most of the time, so when you put it as an interdisciplinary approach, the approach will be more novel, okay? And that will make it more idea about like attacking a different angle to the question. And so that may have a benefit when we look at the proposal. But in the reality, some of the proposal just simply put like different approach, but very superficial. Do not mix well, okay? Just when we look at it, you don't know why they put these two together. You don't know why they will make the synergy, okay, to make the proposal strong. And so this, you also need to think more when you really want to do something interdisciplinary. And also you need to, if you propose that kind of research, you need to find the right co-I or co-PI that support the study, yeah. Because the reviewer will look into your track record. So whether or not you can do it, or you just say you can do it, okay, that's very important.
Dr. Liu Kai-Kwin from Metropolitan University again, so thank you for indulging me once again. We have been talking a lot about the proposal stage, like the courtship. So can I move one step further, like what happens if the grant is accepted, we go into a relationship, what will be expected of us? You know, maybe you can share with us, like, you know, the next 3 years, like forward, like what are experiences of like the sustainability of grants here with the project. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah.
There is a successful delivery of your project or sustainability of your research direction.
So like during the 3 years, what sort of updates do we have to give? You know, what sort of spending that, you know, if there are any change of plans, maybe from your own experience?
So have you ever won any FDS? Not yet.
Not in this country. I'm not in Hong Kong.
Okay.
I just came here only. But you know, from other grants experiences I have, we have root shocks. Like some spending cannot be done. You know, and
all right.
and things like that.
Secure one first, and then you will notice that this projects are well managed. Okay, you will be submitting progress report, and then middle term report and a final report. So, yeah, get started first.
Okay, I'm Billy Wong from the Hong Kong Metropolitan University. I have a question about the success rate of FDS applications in individual subject disciplines. I'm aware that the overall success rate of FDS application is quite stable, around 25–26% every year. But the success rate really varies across different disciplines. For example, I noticed that in the business studies panel, the success rate for the past few years are consistently below 20%, quite up to a large extent lower than the average success rate. So I'm interested in learning more. Are there any particular problems in the proposal of particular subject discipline that led to the consistently low success rate? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think our panel members also share with your view that we could improve our successful rate. And having said that, I just want to share some of our own observations. A few hours ago, I was joking with my colleagues. Well, this panel really have soft heart. Yeah, in every our assessment panel meeting, we spend a lot of time trying to save our proposals. Our colleagues can, as a witness, right? Am I telling the truth? Yes, no? Yes. So as panel members, we are very supportive to all of the PIs. Well, during my presentation, that's why I mentioned we would like to offer some advice for institutions to help our PIs to increase the successful rate. First, we have those internal proposal development workshop. The second, we solicit the advice, help from external experts. So if our institutions, especially the top management of the institutions can strengthen the effort, I'm sure and I believe the success rate of our proposals will increase in the coming years. But of course, if you have any questions or if you need any help, our assessment panel are here to help you. I'm sure our UGC colleagues are also willing to help you. Bottom line, the purpose of this scheme is to help our institutions to develop your individual research capability as well as the research capability of your institutions. And we are devoted to achieve that goal. Thank you.
Since I'm a business panel, so actually that, well, in fact, that we are not aware of the big difference. Of course, that later we do find that after all, that there seems to be a difference in terms of success rate. But again, that there's really not a preset rate. Where I say business has to be lower than the other fields. I can really testify that. But again, we don't really cannot attribute the cost because at the end of the day, we are really judging the proposal. We are really looking at the comments on these external reviewers on these proposals, and of course that we also do have our own discussion and collaboration. And I think that after all, because when I really listen to some of our speakers for the sharing, right, how to write the proposal, I think that exactly, there's sometimes that they are really making very good suggestions how to write a good research proposal, whether that you really have a good question to ask, whether that you have really that a good methodology, and what are really the potential contribution, a novel contribution. I think that these are really the elements that we are really looking for. And for some reason, I don't know, it might be just accidental. That it appears that for the last couple of years that there is really a less of this kind of a component. Among this business panel, and so that's why maybe the success rate is not as high as what we would like. Hopefully, you come to this session and now learn all the tricks, and then you all can improve. And we would like to see the success rate to be much higher in the coming year. Thank you.
This is Sylvia Ling from Hollywood Speed. Because preliminary studies are highly encouraged, so I want to ask a question about this. How far should we go in doing this? If I try to answer all the research questions stated in the research proposal, just with a smaller sample size, and I generate relevant findings, and maybe I even try to publish the findings, and then I still seek to answer the same set of research questions in the FDS proposal. Will this be considered not that innovative? The FDS proposal.
Yeah, I think that universal answer, it depends. Yeah. So how much data you put in the proposal? So you have to think, so what data you need to put in the proposal? Some of the times that it's the data to demonstrate you are able to do it, okay? Or your hypothesis is kind of like support by the data. And that kind of, or that volume of data, you need to put it in your proposal. Whether or not the proposal will be innovative, like if you publish some of the data already, yeah, that really, if the scope of a study in your published data and your proposal is very similar, of course, this is not innovative. Okay, sometimes you pretend that you are the reviewer, okay, to take a look of the proposal, and then to see whether or not it's really innovative or it's just a continuation of what you have been doing. And so it may not be difficult to tell. In particular, as one of the speakers mentioned, that you write your proposal earlier and then leave it alone for like 1 or 2 months. And then you pick it up, take a look. And then you will know whether or not it is innovative. And you also will know whether or not your proposal is written in a very well organized manner. Yeah, because some of the times when you write your proposal, you read it day by day, you may be blind by what you have in your mind. Okay, you may skip some of the theory or hypothesis or gap of knowledge that in your mind, and then lacking unclear writing in your proposal. And so just leave it on your desk for 1 week and then reread it, and then you know the differences.
I think that is it's an art form. Okay, it's an art to deal with your dilemma. So certainly it's not advisable that you put your research that has been done to ask for research money. Sometimes that is even unethical to do so. Okay, so that said, how to strike a balance between your pilot study and full-scale study. Okay, that's an art form. Okay, so perhaps you put that in a way that you can convince the reviewers you know things. Okay, but yet it's fully done. So never given a reviewers an impression this research has been completed. Okay, thank you.
No question, we are now come to the end of today's workshop. We would like to thank again Professor Julie Lee, Chairman of the Assessment Panel, Professor Carlotte Chan, Professor Vincent Luke, Professor Kenneth Sin, and Professor Chris Wong, subject conveners of the Assessment Panel, and the 3 guest speakers, Dr. Stella Chan, Dr. Helen Wong, and Dr. Bobo Lau, and all of you for joining today's workshop. I hope you enjoyed the workshop this evening. We would like to thank City University of Hong Kong for providing us the venue and kind support for today's workshop.